Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan. Now today we are going to be looking at the tuning shop. One of the things that we need to do is to increase the performance points on a Mini. So if we go into the cafe, actually no, we go into the garage first of all. Because we need to change into the Mini, because obviously we're in the wrong car at the moment. So if we just come down and go into the Mini, we'll change into that. So we'll come out of the garage and then we'll go back into the challenge. But I can't remember the number of performance points that we need. Let's just come out of there for a moment. Go into the cafe. And if we go into the menu books, then we need to have 360 performance points or more. Okay, so if we just go back out of here. So if we go into the tuning shop. Now in here you've got a lot of options, sports clubs, etc. I normally jump straight to extreme. And one of the first things that I tend to buy is the carbon ceramic brakes. There are a number of other options in here, but those tend to be the two. I do often go with the intermediate and racing wet tyres. Then I check the racing, but if we just come back, the first thing I'm going to do is to do the weight reduction. So I'm going to sports to do the first stage. We'll do the second stage in club sports. In semi-racing, we'll do the third stage. And then if we go across to racing, I think, yeah, the fourth stage isn't available to us. I am going to go with racing soft tyres, just because they will be useful in the race if we're going to have a race. I'm not quite sure where we're going to go after the cafe. But you can see that we are already up to 970. Now, I normally start from the right-hand side extreme when I'm tuning a car. Because quite a lot of the components further down the order are duplicated. And so if we go down to sports, for instance, you've got a sports silencer in here. If we then go to club sports, actually semi-racing, there's a semi-racing silencer. If you bought this, then you would then not needed to have bought the first one. And if we go into racing, then we've got yet another silencer. And I tend to go for the racing silencer first of all. So I start off with extreme and go with the carbon ceramic brake kit. Sometimes I go with nitrous, but yeah, I tend not to do that too often. Hydraulic brake might be useful for drifting, but I tend not to buy that too often. Steering angle adapter and some of these other things I don't worry about too much. And then, as I said, the intermediate and the heavy wet tyres if we're going to be doing any wet races. The engine and body I don't worry about too much. So once we've got our ceramic brakes, I tend to go back to racing. Don't worry about the engine components too much. If I've got a car with a turbo, then sometimes I'll put the anti-lag system on. Sometimes I'll go with a supercharger and the racing intercooler. And I very often go with the racing air filter and the racing silencer, as I mentioned a moment ago. And if I go with that, then of course the manifold to marry the two together. Racing brakes I don't need to worry about because obviously we've got those in extreme. We've already bought those, so I don't need to worry about that. And then in semi-racing, you've got the fully customized computer. That can be useful for adjusting the performance points if you need to. The silencer and some of the other bits and pieces in here I don't need to worry about because I would have gone with racing. Sometimes I'll go with the turbocharger. You've got the low, medium and high. I don't really know the difference between those too much. That's something I need to research. The supercharger and the sports intercooler occasionally I will put on. I don't tend to worry about suspension. Sometimes the clutch and the flywheel I'll put on, and the limited slip differential in particular for some of the challenge that can be useful. And if you need to adjust the power band, then a customizable manual transmission can be useful, but I tend not to use that very much. Club sports, I don't really buy anything in here very much. Sometimes I will grab the power restrictor and the ballast. So the power restrictor is useful for lowering the performance points, as is the ballast, and you're probably going to see me using that throughout my journey with Gran Turismo, as I need to lower the performance points of certain cars. And I do normally collect all of the tyres when I'm in here, so I tend to do that in sports. This is where you've got your comfort on your sports tyres, and obviously racing tyres in the racing area. So if we could just go back to the cafe now, we have completed that particular menu book, which was rather easy. And there's lots of different ways that you can tune your car. Again, he's talking about the power restrictors and the ballasts, which are designed to lower the car's performance points, which we will need to do from time to time. But there's a lot to do in this. We've unlocked Alsace in France, which is nice, and Sardegna in Italy. So 2 new tracks to get our teeth into. And it looks like we've got a new menu book, which is European hot hatches. So if we do next and we go into the menu book, we are looking for the Mini Cooper S 2005, the Abarth 500 2009, and a Polo GTI 2014. Some nice cars in there. So we will probably have to run some more tracks for that. If we're going to be racing the Mini tuned to 360 pp or more, then head over to Brands Hatch. So maybe there's a race that's been unlocked in there. So if we just come out of here and we head over to World Circuits, I think in Europe we've got France, Italy, and another one for Brands Hatch. So this is where we can win our Mini. So that's going to be one of the next things that we will need to do. I'm not sure that I'm going to need my small Mini for that particular race, but we'll come back and look at that at another time. In the meantime, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for notifications of when I come back to do this Sunday Cup race and my other videos that I release pretty regularly. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you ever so much for coming back and sharing this journey with me. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.